If you keep putting yourself last, you're going to lose everything that actually matters. That's not a maybe. That's a guarantee. Every day you ignore your health, your peace, your direction. Something breaks. Not all at once, but slowly. And when it finally hits you, you'll wish you had acted sooner. You can't live your best life while treating yourself like an afterthought. You've got to ask yourself, when was the last time you made yourself the priority? Not just talked about it, but really lived it. Most people stay busy doing everything for everyone else and lose their own focus in the process. This message is not about selfishness. It's about responsibility. Because if you don't take care of you, no one else will. You've got one job to protect your mind, your energy, your time, and your future. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, stuck, tired, or like something's missing, this is why you're overdue to return to yourself. So stay with me. This might be the most important reminder you hear all year. Number 1, say the truth to yourself and act on it. You can't improve anything in your life until you're honest with yourself first. That's the starting point. Not motivation, not hype, just truth. And the truth is, most people don't really look at themselves. They look at what they want others to see. They keep wearing a version of themselves that makes them feel accepted, but it doesn't last. Because deep down, they know they're lying to themselves. If you want to grow, if you want to get back your focus, if you want to take control before it all slips away, you've got to say what's real. Sit down with yourself. No distractions. No pretending. Just ask, where am I really right now? And answer without filters. That's where change begins. Now I know, facing the truth about yourself isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It stings. You start realizing how much time you've wasted. You see your bad habits up close. You remember the promises you made to yourself and never kept. You see how many times you put other people ahead of your own needs. But here's the thing. Without that moment of clarity, nothing gets better. Nothing changes. Nothing heals. That truth might be that you've been lazy. It might be that you've been making excuses. It might be that you've been avoiding responsibility. It might be that you've let others treat you poorly and you allowed it because you were afraid of being alone. It might be that you've talked a lot but followed through on very little. But the moment you say it, really say it, you unlock something powerful. You can't fix a problem if you're pretending it doesn't exist. And that's what a lot of people do. They delay. They sugarcoat. They lie to themselves just to feel okay for one more day. But each of those days adds up. Before you know it, years are gone. Health is gone. Confidence is gone. Time with people who mattered, gone. That's why focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. It's the decision to finally take your life seriously. Because no one else is going to do it for you. People might support you. They might cheer you on. But no one's coming to fix you. That's your job. You've got to act on what you see. Once you know the truth, don't delay. Start taking steps. Don't wait for everything to feel right. It won't. Start with what you can. If you've been sleeping late and wasting the day, fix your schedule. If you've been avoiding hard conversations, have them. If you've been talking about goals but never building them, get to work. Stop lying to yourself that tomorrow will magically change everything. Tomorrow is built by what you do now. And here's what people don't understand. The pain of truth is temporary, but the pain of regret, it stays. If you wait too long to deal with yourself, life will do it for you, and it won't be gentle. You'll lose time. You'll lose respect. You'll lose relationships. You'll lose your sense of who you are, because you didn't take yourself seriously when it mattered. I've met people who were incredibly talented, but they weren't honest with themselves. They knew they were wasting time, but they kept saying, I'll get serious next month. Next month turned into 5 years, and now they're bitter. Not because they couldn't succeed, but because they didn't start when they should have. They didn't act when the truth first hit them. They ignored the signs. They laughed off the warnings, and now they're trying to recover what they gave away. Don't be one of them. If you feel something is off in your life, that feeling isn't random. It's a signal, a message, a chance to reset. Don't run from it. Use it. Use it to fuel change. Use it to ask better questions. Use it to build a better routine. Use it to create boundaries. Use it to stop settling. Because when you finally say the truth out loud and you start doing something about it, you take your power back. You don't need to fix everything overnight. That's not the point. The point is to stop pretending, to stop playing small, to stop blaming others, to stop comparing, and to finally say, this is where I am, and I'm going to do something about it. That's when your life starts changing. Not when you read another book, not when you get another opinion, but when you say enough. I've had enough of wasting time. I've had enough of distractions. I've had enough of letting myself down. That's when the real work begins. Start small if you have to. Just start one habit, 1 hour, one task, one rule for yourself. Then build on that. Make your words mean something again. Build trust with yourself. That's the foundation of confidence. Not praise, not likes, not approval. Real confidence comes from watching yourself follow through, from doing the hard thing you said you'd do, from showing up even when no one else sees it. And you'll notice something powerful happens when you live like that. Your self-respect returns, your focus sharpens, your anxiety starts to fade, because you're finally aligned with who you're supposed to be. No pretending, no chasing, just you, taking yourself seriously. People will notice. They'll wonder what changed. They'll ask what you've been doing. And the answer will be simple. I stopped lying to myself. I started acting on the truth. It doesn't matter how far off track you've gone. You can get back. You can rebuild, but only if you stop fooling yourself and get honest. Brutally honest. Because it's better to feel the sting of truth today than the weight of regret tomorrow. So say the truth to yourself. Don't hide from it. Own it. And then act. Change what needs changing. Build what needs building. Fix what needs fixing. The time is now, not when it's convenient, not when it's easy. Now. Because if you don't focus on yourself now, you will lose everything that matters later. That's the price of ignoring the truth. And that's why honesty with yourself is the first real step toward freedom. Number 2. Prioritize your time before it controls you. If you don't take full control of your time, life will do it for you, and you won't like the results. One day you'll look up and realize you're spending your best years doing things that don't move you forward. Most people are busy, but not effective. They're tired, but not progressing. The reason is simple. They never decided what matters most. They react to life instead of designing it. And when you don't design it, it slips through your hands. The days feel long, but the years disappear. Time doesn't wait for anyone. If you don't manage it, you'll lose everything valuable. You've got to start looking at your calendar like your bank account. Every hour is an investment. Every minute has weight. And the truth is, your future depends on what you choose to do with your hours right now. That means cutting out what doesn't serve you. It means saying no more often. It means turning down distractions that steal your focus. Not everything deserves your attention. Some people, some tasks, some habits, they drain you. You don't owe your time to everything that asks for it. You owe it to yourself to protect what actually matters. Most people don't realize how much time they give away. They say yes to things they don't care about. They scroll for hours without meaning. They fill up their schedule to avoid facing what really needs work. But avoiding the hard parts of your life doesn't make them go away. It just delays the pain. Time doesn't pause while you figure it out. It keeps going. And if you don't take responsibility for how you spend it, your goals, your energy, your peace, they'll all disappear one decision at a time. You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters. That means identifying the few things that move your life forward and making them a priority every single day. You don't get stronger by trying to do everything. You get stronger by staying consistent with the right things. Make a list. Cross off the distractions. Cut your to-do list in half. Remove things that look productive but keep you stuck in the same place. Be ruthless about what stays in your routine. Because if it doesn't build you, it's breaking you quietly. A lot of people live in reaction mode. They wait for the day to tell them what to do. They respond to every message. They chase every task. But at the end of the day, they feel like they went nowhere. That's because they gave away control. They let time manage them instead of the other way around. But here's the truth. Your focus is your power, and you can't afford to keep giving it to things that don't change your life. Every time you say yes to something useless, you're saying no to something essential. You need to build structure in your life. Wake up at the same time. Set rules for yourself. Block time for what's important. Leave space for recovery. You can't keep burning out and calling it progress. When you prioritize your time, you become harder to shake. You stop living on the edge of burnout. You stop letting emotions run your day. You think clearer. You act smarter. And more than anything, you start to see results that last. You stop spinning your wheels and start moving forward for real. Don't wait until life forces you to change. Don't wait until everything is a mess. Don't wait until your energy is gone and your motivation has dried up. The signs are already there. If you feel stressed, scattered, overwhelmed, it's not because your life is too full. It's because your priorities are too weak. You've been giving too much to what gives you nothing. And if you keep going that way, it won't just be your time you lose. You'll lose clarity. You'll lose confidence. You'll lose opportunities that never come back. Your calendar tells the truth about your life. It shows what you actually value. If your time is filled with other people's plans, then you're not living yours. You can't just hope for focus. You have to fight for it. Protect your mornings. Guard your evenings. Don't give every hour away like it's cheap. You only get so many chances to build the life you want. You only get so many windows to improve. You don't need a perfect schedule. You just need one that puts your growth first. Every single day. The sooner you make your time your own, the faster everything changes. You think clearer. You waste less. You stop rushing. You stop explaining yourself. You finally feel in control of your life, instead of just going through the motions. The power is not in doing everything. The power is in doing the right things consistently, even when no one's watching. That's what separates people who grow from people who stay stuck. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's structure. And that starts by putting yourself back in charge of your time. So look at your life honestly. Look at how you spend your days. Look at the people who take up your hours. Look at the habits that steal your focus. And then make a decision. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now choose what builds you. Choose what brings you peace. Choose what gives you energy and moves your life forward. Because if you don't prioritize your time, everything else will. And by the time you realize what you lost, it'll be too late to get it back. Number 3, cut out lazy habits and rebuild your discipline. Discipline doesn't start with motivation. It starts with a decision. A clear choice to stop living in patterns that weaken you. Lazy habits don't announce themselves. They slide in quietly and take over your days without you even noticing. Before you know it, your energy is low, your goals are distant, and your confidence is fading. The only way out is to cut the behavior that holds you back. You don't need more time. You need fewer excuses. The longer you stay comfortable in bad habits, the harder it gets to build anything strong. And if you wait, you'll lose yourself. Start by being honest about your daily actions. How you wake up, how you spend your free time, what you do when no one's watching. If you keep giving in to what feels easy, you'll never become who you're capable of being. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up for yourself, even when you don't feel like it. Lazy habits are built on comfort. Discipline is built on responsibility, and no one can build it for you. It's you versus you, every day, and every decision either strengthens your future or steals from it. Rebuilding discipline isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters without needing to feel inspired first. You need structure. You need rules that don't shift when your mood does. Set a time to wake up and stick to it. Set hours for focused work and protect them. Eat better, move your body, cut the junk. Not because it's fun, but because your future deserves better. Small choices shape your life. Lazy habits never show their damage on day one, but over time they destroy progress, quietly. Discipline, on the other hand, builds self-respect. You can't buy. You've got to challenge yourself on purpose. Push through discomfort on purpose. Do hard things when no one's forcing you. That's how you grow strong. That's how you separate from the crowd. Most people give up as soon as things get hard. Most people choose short-term pleasure over long-term gain. You can't be like most people and expect a different result. You've got to train your mind to act when your body wants to rest, to follow through when your emotions say quit. That's what real discipline is, doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to. Cutting out lazy habits means changing your environment too. Look around. What's making it easy for you to waste time? What triggers your laziness? Your surroundings either support your goals or sabotage them. Don't keep reminders of your old habits in sight. Remove the distractions. Simplify your space. Make it harder to go backward. Don't rely on willpower alone. Build an environment where your discipline can thrive. This isn't about being harsh. It's about being serious. Your life deserves structure. It deserves intention. You can't leave your habits to chance and expect lasting change. When you do the work daily, even when no one applauds, that's when discipline sticks. It becomes part of your identity. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. But you have to earn that through repetition. You don't get disciplined by talking about it. You get disciplined by doing the uncomfortable thing again and again until it becomes normal. One day missed becomes 3. 3 becomes a week. A week becomes a setback. That's how lazy habits win. Don't let that pattern take over your life again. You've come too far to go backwards. The cost of laziness is never obvious at first, but it shows up eventually, in your health, in your confidence, in your relationships, in missed opportunities. Every time you skip a responsibility, there's a price. You may not feel it today, but the bill comes due eventually. You don't want to wake up one day and realize you wasted years you'll never get back. Build discipline now, not for the applause, not for the image, for yourself, for your peace, for the satisfaction of knowing you kept your word and showed up, even when it was hard. You have the power to choose differently at any moment. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're just used to easy. That doesn't mean you stay there. Get uncomfortable on purpose. Train your mind to do the hard thing first. Hold yourself accountable, even when nobody else is watching. Make discipline your new normal, and don't rely on feeling like it. Just commit. Show up. Be consistent. That's where change happens, not in emotion, but in routine. You don't need a new plan. You need stronger execution. And that starts by cutting out what keeps you weak. You'll never regret being disciplined. You'll never look back and say, I wish I was lazier. What you'll regret are the chances you didn't take because you weren't prepared. The goals you didn't reach because you didn't follow through. The respect you didn't earn from yourself because you kept breaking your own word. Discipline fixes that. It builds confidence you can feel, not just talk about. You start looking in the mirror and actually liking the person you see. Not because you're perfect, but because you're solid. You show up for yourself. That matters more than anything. Now is the time to take full control. Not later, not when life gets easier. Now cut out the habits that waste your time. Replace them with action. Be the person who follows through. Build a routine that supports your growth. Focus on yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. You only get one chance to live with purpose. Don't throw it away chasing comfort. Rebuild your discipline today, and every day after, one step at a time. And soon you won't just be surviving. You'll be leading your life again with strength and clarity. Number 4, spend time alone and listen to your thoughts. Most people stay busy to avoid facing themselves. They fill their time with noise, distractions, conversations, entertainment. Anything that keeps them from being alone. But the truth is, real growth begins in silence. When you take time to step back, unplug, and sit with your own thoughts, you start to hear things you've been ignoring. You begin to notice what feels off, what needs fixing, and what no longer belongs in your life. The outside world can't give you that kind of clarity. Only you can. And it starts by giving yourself permission to be alone without avoiding what's inside you. Spending time alone doesn't mean you're isolating yourself. It means you care enough to understand yourself deeply. In a world where everyone is rushing, chasing, and reacting, the person who can pause and reflect has the advantage. When you're alone, there's no pressure to perform, no need to explain yourself. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just listening. Listening to what you really think. Listening to what you've been suppressing. Listening to your truth. And often it's that quiet voice inside that's been trying to guide you back to your center, but you've been too distracted to hear it. You can't fix what you don't understand, and you can't understand what you won't face. Time alone helps you reconnect with your real self, not the version you show to others. You get to ask the hard questions. Am I proud of how I live? Am I chasing what matters or just following what's popular? What am I tolerating that's hurting me? Most people never ask these questions. They're scared of what the answers might be. But if you want to focus on yourself and protect your peace, you've got to stop avoiding your mind and start listening to it. You don't need a special place or a perfect schedule. Just carve out space to be with yourself, even if it's only 30 minutes a day. No screens, no background noise, just silence. That's when you'll start to feel what's been buried under the surface. You may feel restless at first. That's normal. You've been conditioned to stay busy, but stick with it, because soon that restlessness will turn into awareness. And awareness is the first step to change. You'll start to see what needs to go, what needs to grow, and what needs more of your energy and focus. You've got thoughts running in your mind every day, and most of them go unchecked. That's dangerous, because those thoughts shape your choices, and your choices shape your life. Time alone helps you filter what's helpful from what's harmful. You'll catch the lies you've been telling yourself. You'll hear the excuses that keep repeating, and once you catch them, you can challenge them. That's how you stop self-sabotage before it turns into patterns. That's how you reset your direction before you go too far down the wrong path. But none of that happens if you're always avoiding stillness. Silence has power. It shows you what really matters without any influence, without anyone telling you what you should want, what you should be doing, or who you should be. When it's just you and your thoughts, the pressure to conform disappears. You realize how much of your life you've been living for approval. You realize how much of your time has gone into things that don't feel right, and you get to choose differently. Not because someone told you to, but because you finally listened to yourself and made decisions that align with your truth. If you don't spend time alone, the world will decide who you are. You'll get pulled in every direction. You'll try to be everything for everyone, and lose your own identity in the process. You'll stay busy but feel empty. You'll follow trends but feel lost. You'll achieve things but wonder why they don't feel like success. That's the cost of never pausing to check in with yourself. You can't stay connected to your values if you never make time to hear your own voice. And if you lose your voice, you lose your life. Being alone isn't about isolation. It's about grounding. It's about remembering what matters. It's about taking ownership of your mental space. You've got people in your life. You've got responsibilities. But if you don't take care of your own mind, none of those things will feel fulfilling. You'll always feel like something's missing, because no one else can fill the space that only self-awareness can fill. And that kind of awareness only comes when you slow down, get quiet, and sit with your own thoughts without running from them. Your strength doesn't come from how loud you are. It comes from how well you understand yourself. And that understanding doesn't come from others. It comes from those moments when it's just you, thinking, reflecting, adjusting, and learning. You build real emotional strength when you spend time alone and face what you usually avoid. You build discipline when you sit in the discomfort and come out clearer on the other side. That's what maturity looks like. Not more noise, not more activity, but more honesty. And that honesty starts in the quiet. So step back, make space for silence, put away the distractions, and start listening. Not to the world, not to other people's opinions, but to yourself. Because if you don't learn to be with your own mind, it will become your enemy. It will confuse you, distract you, and push you toward choices that don't align with your values. But if you spend time alone and listen deeply, your mind becomes your greatest tool. Your peace becomes your strength. And your decisions start leading you toward a life that actually feels like yours. That's how you protect yourself from losing everything. Number 5. Put down your phone and face your real life. Every time you pick up your phone without a reason, you're stepping away from your real life. The habit seems small, but it adds up quickly. You scroll for a minute, then another, and suddenly an hour is gone. That hour could have gone into your goals, your health, your relationships, or your peace. But instead, it was spent escaping. And the more you escape, the more disconnected you become. You stop noticing the world around you. You stop checking in with yourself. You stop being present. And over time, you lose your grip on what truly matters. Most people don't realize how addicted they are to their screens until they try to step away. They get anxious, restless, bored. That's not normal. It's a sign something deeper needs your attention. Your phone shouldn't be your comfort zone. It shouldn't be your escape from silence. If being alone with your thoughts feels uncomfortable, that's exactly why you need to do it. Because real clarity doesn't come from scrolling. It comes from confronting your life directly and doing something about what's not right. Your phone won't fix that. Only your attention and effort can. You don't need more content. You need more awareness. You need to look around and see where your energy is going. Look at your screen time. Look at how much of your day is spent looking at other people's lives. That's energy being stolen from your own future. You can't build something real if all your focus is on the outside world. You need to bring it back home, back to your own goals, back to your own habits, back to your own decisions. That's how progress starts, with presence, not with distraction. The world isn't going to slow down. The feed will keep updating. Notifications will keep showing up. But your life doesn't wait. Your opportunities have expiration dates. Your relationships need attention. Your health needs care. And none of that happens through a screen. It happens in the real world. And if you don't look up now, you'll look back later and wonder where all the time went. Regret often comes when people realize they were present everywhere except their own life. Don't let that happen to you. Be where your feet are. You have to take control of your habits before they take control of you. And phone habits are some of the strongest ones. They're subtle, they feel harmless. But they steal your time, your attention, and your peace. You check your phone before you check in with yourself. You look for updates before you look at your goals. That's not a small problem. That's a system failure. Because the mind goes where attention flows. If your attention is always online, your life offline stays empty. Change that by setting boundaries that protect your focus. Start small. Set phone-free hours during your day. Keep your phone in another room while you work. Turn off notifications that aren't important. Stop checking your screen first thing in the morning. Make your morning about you, not about everyone else. These aren't just productivity tips. They're self-respect in action. Because the more time you spend present, the more connected you become to what actually matters. You start seeing your problems clearly. You start noticing your progress. You start living in your own world, not the one designed to keep you endlessly distracted. You can't keep blaming your phone for your lack of growth. At some point, you have to take full ownership. That means saying, I've allowed this, and I'm done allowing it. You don't need to go offline forever. You just need to stop letting the digital world replace your real one. Because the real world is where your life happens. It's where your habits take shape, where your health improves, where your relationships get stronger, where your goals become real. Don't trade that for endless scrolling. Don't numb your life because it's easier than facing it. If you want to regain control, you have to be uncomfortable for a while. You have to sit in boredom and let your brain reset. You have to stop running from silence and start embracing it. That's where clarity lives. That's where your real thoughts show up. And that's where you find the energy to make changes that last. No phone can give you that. Only solitude can. When you stop chasing updates and start facing your own reality, you step into the driver's seat of your life. And that's where you belong. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You get to decide what kind of life you build. You can build it on distraction, or you can build it on purpose. You can keep watching others live, or you can fully show up in your own world. Don't wait until you've lost time, energy, and peace to make this shift. Make it now. Turn your attention inward. Look at where you are. Look at who you are. And make the decision to be present. That's how you focus on yourself before everything slips away. Real life doesn't happen on your screen. It happens in the small decisions you make every day. It happens when you pay attention to your routines, when you listen to your own needs, when you take back your time, when you break free from habits that quietly drain you. So put down your phone. Face your real life. Show up for it with full attention. Because if you keep escaping, you'll keep losing. And the more you lose connection with yourself, the harder it gets to rebuild. Start now. The screen can wait. Your life cannot. Number 6. Stop blaming people and fix what's yours to fix. Blaming others is the fastest way to avoid progress. It gives you something to point at, someone to criticize, a reason to stay the same. But while you're busy explaining why someone else is responsible, your problems remain untouched. They don't move. They don't get lighter. They just sit there waiting for you to deal with them. And eventually, they pile up. You don't grow by blaming others. You grow when you take full ownership of what's in your hands. Because the truth is, you don't control everything, but you always control your response. And that's where real change begins. It's tempting to say, they hurt me, they left me, they failed me, and stop there. But stopping there keeps you stuck. Life will throw you challenges. People will let you down. Circumstances won't always be fair, but staying focused on who did what keeps you trapped in the past. At some point, you have to say, that happened, but I'm still responsible for how I move forward. That mindset isn't weakness, it's power. Because as long as your healing or progress depends on someone else, you've handed them control over your life. Take it back. Look around at your life right now. What needs fixing? What's broken? What's been ignored for too long? Ask yourself, what am I avoiding by blaming other people? Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your daily habits. You can't keep pointing at the past and expect the future to look different. If something isn't working, own it. Even if it's not all your fault, it's still your responsibility to fix what's yours. That's not being hard on yourself. That's being honest. And honesty is the start of freedom. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It means recognizing where your actions, choices, or mindset are making things worse, or stopping them from getting better. If your routines are weak, fix them. If your attitude is negative, work on it. If your standards have slipped, raise them. You don't need permission to change. You need the courage to stop making excuses. Because while you're blaming others, your life isn't improving. And the longer you wait for someone else to make it right, the longer you stay behind. The world doesn't slow down for your blame. It keeps moving. And if you're not growing with it, you're falling behind. Growth only happens when you take full ownership. If you're always explaining why something isn't your fault, you're avoiding the work. And the work is what builds you. It's what shapes your confidence. Every time you take control of a situation, instead of complaining about it, you get stronger. That's how you protect your future. Not by being perfect, but by being accountable every single day, especially when it's hard. You're not the only one who's been wronged. You're not the only one who's been misunderstood or treated unfairly. But the people who rise are the ones who refuse to stay stuck in blame. They feel the pain, but they don't stay in it. They use it, they learn from it, and then they build something better. You have that same choice. You can keep retelling the story of what went wrong, or you can write a new story with your actions. Nobody's coming to fix your life for you. That job belongs to you alone. Fixing what's yours to fix means taking an honest inventory. Are you showing up fully? Are you doing what you said you would? Are you making the most of your time, your skills, your opportunities? Or are you waiting for things to be easier, for someone to help, for an apology that may never come? Waiting is another form of blame, and it slowly destroys progress. Don't wait. Do what you can with what you have. Starting today, progress isn't about big moves. It's about consistent responsibility. Even when you feel like blaming others would be easier. When you stop blaming and start owning your life, you begin to feel different. You stop feeling helpless. You stop feeling bitter. You start feeling capable again. You start building belief in yourself. That's the power of accountability. It restores your confidence. You begin to see that no matter what happened, you still have the power to move forward. You still have the ability to rebuild. And that's the most important part. Because what matters most isn't what happened to you. What matters is what you decide to do with it now. You don't need anyone else to change for your life to get better. You don't need closure from people who hurt you. You don't need everyone to agree with your path. You just need to take ownership of your actions and commit to doing what needs to be done. Stop trying to win the blame game. Start focusing on the actions that will actually move your life forward. Blaming others might feel good in the moment, but it solves nothing. Action, responsibility, effort. Those are the tools that rebuild a life with strength. So take a deep look at where you are. Identify what you've been avoiding. Stop wasting time talking about who's at fault. That won't fix anything. Start with what's in your hands. Clean it up. Own your part. Build discipline. Adjust your thinking. Change your behavior. Stay focused on the only person you can control, yourself, because if you don't, you'll keep circling the same problems, telling the same story, and watching your life stay the same. Fix what's yours now, before you lose your energy, your peace and your future trying to fix what never belonged to you. Number 7. Drop fake friendships and rebuild your self-worth now. You can't grow in the wrong environment, and nothing holds you back more quietly than fake friendships. These are the relationships that feel shallow, transactional, or one-sided. They drain your energy, waste your time, and cloud your judgment. But many people hold on because they fear being alone more than they fear being used. That mindset will destroy your self-worth. You can't respect yourself while constantly keeping people around who don't respect you. If someone only shows up when they need something, they're not your friend. Letting go of the wrong people is the first step to finding your real self. Real self-worth doesn't grow in manipulation, guilt, or constant explanation. If you have to explain your value to someone over and over, they were never meant to be in your life. Friends who don't clap when you win, who mock your ambition, or who talk behind your back, they're not confused. They're just not loyal. And deep down, you know it. You've felt it, but you stay quiet, hoping things will change. They won't. People who don't value you from the start will only take more the longer you allow it. Drop what's fake, or you'll lose what's real in you. You've got to start protecting your space. The people you allow into your life have influence over how you think, act, and feel. If you surround yourself with gossip, negativity, and people who don't care about growth, you'll eventually reflect the same. It's not about judging others. It's about protecting your direction. You're not here to impress people who don't care if you win. You're here to build a life that means something. That takes focus. That takes clarity. And both are impossible if you're spending energy pretending to fit into places that don't value who you are. Some friendships end quietly. A few unanswered texts, less effort, more distance. Don't fight to keep what's already faded. Pay attention to how people make you feel. Do you feel drained after spending time with them? Do you feel small, ignored, or doubted? That's not friendship. That's tolerance dressed up as connection. And the longer you pretend it's okay, the more you convince yourself that it's all you deserve. You deserve people who support you, challenge you, tell you the truth, and show up when it counts. Anything less than that is a weight you shouldn't carry anymore. Once you drop what's fake, you create space for what's real. That includes building a better relationship with yourself. When your circle gets smaller, your awareness grows. You stop seeking approval. You stop chasing people who are indifferent. You start asking better questions. What do I need right now? What kind of energy do I want around me? What kind of friend do I want to be? These are powerful questions. And the answers don't come from others. They come from the stillness that follows when you stop chasing validation and start building self-respect. Self-worth isn't found in likes, invites, or compliments. It's found in the quiet choices you make for yourself. Waking up on time, sticking to your goals, saying no when something doesn't feel right, removing yourself from places where you aren't valued, speaking the truth when it's uncomfortable. That's how confidence grows. That's how self-respect is built. One small, firm decision at a time. And when you respect yourself enough to walk away from what no longer fits, you send a message. I will not shrink for anyone. I will not beg to be seen. I will not tolerate less than I give. You don't need 10 people who pretend to care. You need 2 who actually do. Quantity doesn't protect your peace. Quality does. Find people who speak life into your dreams, who call you out when you're off track, who don't compete with you, who celebrate your growth and tell you the truth, even when it's hard. You won't find them while holding on to people who only like the weaker version of you. The stronger you get, the more people will leave. Let them. The right ones won't feel threatened by your progress. They'll support it. It might feel lonely at first. That's normal. You'll question your decision. You'll wonder if you're being too harsh. But with time, that space you cleared will begin to heal. You'll think clearer. You'll stop second-guessing yourself. You'll move with more certainty. You'll stop explaining your boundaries. You'll stop apologizing for growing. And most of all, you'll realize that peace is better than popularity. Growth is better than fitting in. And self-worth is better than being surrounded by people who don't care if you win or lose. The people you choose to keep close shape your future. If you surround yourself with apathy, you'll feel stuck. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you'll start to shrink. But if you choose honesty, strength, and real support, you'll rise. This choice isn't small. It's the foundation of everything else. You can't focus on yourself if you're constantly drained by people who don't deserve your time. Drop what's fake, rebuild what's real. Because your energy, your time, and your life are too valuable to be spent on people who only show up when it benefits them. Focus on yourself now, not when it's convenient, not when it's easy, not when others finally notice your worth. Focus on yourself before you lose the energy to try, before you lose your direction, before you lose the version of you that knows you're meant for more. Let go of fake friendships that keep you small. Rebuild your self-worth in private. Strengthen your habits. Respect your time. Own your space. That's where your next level begins. Not in noise, not in validation, but in the quiet decision to finally choose yourself without guilt or hesitation. Number 8. Stop chasing people and start building your value. Chasing people will drain your energy, your time, and your self-respect. When you're constantly reaching out, trying to be seen, trying to be accepted, you lose your focus. You start living for other people's attention instead of building something meaningful for yourself. It becomes a cycle, one where you measure your worth based on how others respond. But that kind of validation is unstable. Some days you'll feel high, and other days you'll feel invisible. That's not growth, that's dependency. And the longer you live that way, the more disconnected you become from your own purpose. You don't need everyone to like you. You need to like yourself. That starts when you stop begging to be included in places that never valued you to begin with. The right people don't need to be chased. They recognize your value because they carry value too. You'll never be truly respected by those you have to chase. You're not meant to convince people to see you. You're meant to work so hard on yourself that your results speak louder than any introduction. That begins when you shift all your energy away from people and toward your personal growth. Every moment you spend trying to get someone to choose you is a moment lost on becoming the person you were meant to be. You can't build your future with your eyes on someone else. Your value grows in silence, in discipline, in commitment to your own goals. People are drawn to strength, not desperation. They notice results. They respect standards. And those things are built when you choose to stop chasing and start building. Stop proving your worth. Start increasing it. Be someone of substance, someone whose progress can't be ignored. You have to stop asking, why aren't they responding? And start asking, what am I building today? That shift changes everything. It puts the power back in your hands. It keeps your energy focused where it belongs. People who see your growth will come around. People who don't never mattered in the first place. You don't need a crowd. You need purpose. And purpose doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being valuable. And value doesn't happen overnight. It's earned daily, through effort, focus, and consistency. That's the real path to respect. The truth is, the people you're chasing probably don't even think about you as much as you think about them. That's not cruelty. That's just reality. Everyone is focused on themselves. So why aren't you? Why are you watching others grow while your goals sit untouched? Why are you checking for their attention when your own life is on pause? The more you focus on them, the further you get from your potential. This has to stop. Bring your focus back home. Look at where your habits are. Look at what you're building and fix what needs fixing. Rejection isn't a reflection of your worth. Sometimes it's just redirection. But you miss that lesson when you keep chasing instead of learning. If someone doesn't want to be in your life, let them go. That space can now be filled with growth, with discipline, with progress. You don't need to fight for attention. You need to earn respect. And respect comes from the way you show up, not who you chase. Every time you choose to build instead of beg, you get stronger. And that strength builds a kind of value that nobody can take away from you. You'll start to feel better once you choose yourself again. Not because others are noticing, but because you are. You're seeing your own progress. You're seeing your consistency. You're becoming proud of who you're becoming. That's what matters. Not who texts you, not who shows up, not who validates you. You're not building your life to win popularity. You're building it to win peace, freedom, clarity, and direction. That only happens when you stop chasing and begin creating. You don't need approval to grow. You just need action. and the discipline to keep showing up. Start setting higher standards. Raise the bar on how you spend your time. Spend less time watching and more time doing. Learn, practice, improve, build. Not because it looks good online, but because it feels right inside. Replace comparison with clarity. Replace chasing with consistency. This is your life. Your future depends on what you choose to focus on right now. And the more you focus on yourself, the less you care about things that never helped you grow. That's not selfish. That's necessary. You can't give your best to the world if you keep giving your time to what drains you. You don't owe your energy to people who ignore your effort. You owe it to yourself to become someone who doesn't need attention to feel worthy. Someone who gets to work, whether others notice or not. That's how real value is built. Not from applause, not from recognition, from routine, from pushing through the days you feel unseen. Because one day you won't have to introduce yourself anymore. Your results will speak first. But that only happens when you stop giving your focus away and start directing it fully toward your own mission. So stop looking around, look within, look at your habits, look at your goals, look at your choices, and ask yourself, am I chasing someone, or am I building something? You know the answer, and if you don't like it, now's the time to change. Focus on yourself before you lose the energy, the clarity, and the time you can never get back. This is your chance. Build your value, build your peace, build a life so strong that you never have to chase anything again. Because when you know who you are, everything real starts coming to you. Number 9, start becoming the person you pretend to be. You don't need more likes, more followers, or more applause. You need more honesty. Most people wear a mask every day, saying the right things, acting the right way, pretending they're ahead in life, while privately falling apart. There's a version of you that shows up for others, and then there's the real you behind closed doors. The gap between those two is where all your pressure, stress, and anxiety live. Pretending you've got it all together might work for a while, but deep down you know the truth. And until you face it, you won't move forward in any real way. Pretending feels easier than doing the work. It gives you short-term comfort and appearance, but no lasting progress. You act confident while doubting yourself. You talk about goals you haven't started. You tell people you're disciplined while skipping the hard stuff. That gap slowly eats away at your self-respect. You know when you're not doing your best, and the longer you fake it, the more you fall out of alignment with who you're supposed to become. The real transformation doesn't start with pretending. It starts with committing to become the person you keep telling people you already are. You've shown glimpses of who you could be, the focused version, the disciplined one, the person who doesn't make excuses, who sticks to routines, who honors commitments. But you keep falling back into the easier version, the one that talks more than acts, the one that plans more than does. If you want peace in your life, you have to close the gap between who you say you are and who you really are. No one's stopping you. The opportunity to grow is available every day, but you have to choose truth over appearance. That's where your power is. Stop performing for people who don't matter. Stop chasing an image that's costing you your real progress. The person you pretend to be is not out of reach. You created that version for a reason. It's who you want to be, but you can't get there by faking it. You get there by showing up every day and doing the small, hard, invisible work. That's where growth lives. In the habits no one sees. In the early mornings, the uncomfortable choices, the consistency when it's boring. That's how you close the gap and step into your real identity. You don't need to impress people. You need to respect yourself. And that happens when your actions finally match your words. Talk less, execute more. Replace the need to look successful with the discipline to become successful. No more selling potential. No more hiding behind big promises and empty routines. Become the kind of person who doesn't need to explain, because your life speaks for itself. And that takes work. Real work, not flashy work. Work that challenges you, humbles you, and forces you to grow past who you've been pretending to be. People around you will adjust. Some liked you better when you were pretending, when you stayed small, agreeable, inconsistent. Don't shrink for them. Growth always comes with friction. You're not here to be accepted. You're here to become someone you can be proud of when no one's watching. There's no peace in pretending. There's only pressure. Real freedom is waking up and knowing you're doing what you said you'd do. That's when your confidence returns. That's when your results start to show. And that's when people stop questioning you Because your actions speak louder than any performance ever could. Start identifying the places where you fake it, where you exaggerate, where you present something you haven't earned yet. Not to shame yourself, but to become aware. Because until you're honest about the gap, you'll never close it. Write it down if you have to. Then make a plan. Real habits, real routines, real standards. The stronger your habits, the less pretending you need. You won't have to talk about it anymore. You'll be living it. You'll be walking into rooms knowing you're the same person in public as you are in private. That's alignment, and that's power. Every time you skip the hard work and choose the image, you delay your own growth. It's not that you can't succeed. It's that you've been more committed to looking ready than actually being ready. But that can change right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need consistency and self-respect. Do what matters, even when no one sees it. Speak less about what you want to be. Show it. Let your actions earn the respect. Your words never could. That's how people take you seriously. That's how you take yourself seriously again. You're not here to pretend. You're here to build. You're here to grow. You're here to become the strongest, clearest, most reliable version of yourself. And that means letting go of the act. It means not caring if people think you're further ahead than you really are. Be where you are. Do the work. Take the hits. Stay steady. There is no shortcut. There's only truth. And if you're willing to face that truth and put in the effort, you won't have to pretend anymore. You'll be the real thing. And that feels better than any praise ever could. This is your moment to focus on yourself fully. Not to impress, but to improve. Not to perform, but to prepare. Not to talk about who you might be someday, but to act like the person you keep imagining. You don't have to fake it anymore. You've got what it takes to become the person you've been pretending to be. And when you do that, when you fully step into the reality of who you're becoming, you don't just gain confidence, you gain peace, purpose, and the freedom that only comes from living in full alignment with your truth. Number 10, put yourself first or you'll keep coming last. Putting yourself first isn't selfish, it's survival. If you keep putting your energy into everything and everyone except yourself, you will burn out. You'll feel invisible. You'll lose your sense of who you are and what matters to you. People will keep asking more of you, and you'll keep giving until you have nothing left. That's not kindness, that's self-neglect. You're not here to carry the weight of everyone else's expectations while ignoring your own needs. If you keep coming last in your own life, don't be surprised when you feel like you're falling apart. Something has to change, and it starts now. You don't owe your time to everyone who asks for it. You owe it to yourself to protect what gives you strength. That means saying no when it's necessary. That means setting boundaries and sticking to them. That means doing things that fill you up, not just drain you. If you're always giving and never receiving, you'll become resentful. And resentment turns into distance, frustration, and exhaustion. You can't show up for anyone else if you haven't shown up for yourself first. Your needs matter. Your rest matters. Your peace matters. Make space for them before life forces you to. There's a difference between being helpful and being used. Too many people confuse the two. They think being available all the time means being good-hearted. But if you're constantly exhausted, constantly saying yes to things you don't want to do, that's not generosity. That's guilt. And guilt will trick you into believing that putting yourself first is wrong. But it's not. It's necessary. You can't give your best to others when you're tired, scattered, and bitter. You're no good to anyone if you're running on empty. Prioritize your needs, or your life will become a reaction to everyone else's. Your time is not unlimited. Every yes you give to someone else is a no to something important to you. Your health, your peace, your goals. Think about how often you've sacrificed your plans for someone else's comfort. Think about the promises you've broken to yourself just to keep others happy. Now ask yourself, has it made your life better? Or have you just gotten used to being an option instead of a priority? That's what happens when you constantly come last. Your value gets overlooked, your dreams get delayed, and your confidence slowly fades without you even noticing. It's not about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming responsible for your well-being. People who truly care about you won't be offended by your boundaries. They'll respect them. And the ones who don't, that's your answer. You don't need everyone's approval to live a life that feels right to you. Stop waiting for permission. You're allowed to put yourself first. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to say no. And you're allowed to pursue what matters most to you, even if others don't understand it. This is your life. You're responsible for how it feels every day. Putting yourself first means making space for growth. It means choosing progress over people-pleasing. It means waking up and asking, what do I need today to feel focused, strong, and grounded? Most people never ask that. They move through life in reaction mode, always fixing, always helping, always apologizing for wanting time alone. That cycle never ends until you decide it does. And when you do, you'll notice something powerful. Your clarity returns. Your energy improves. Your goals become clearer. And the noise around you starts to fade. Because you're finally listening to your own voice, not everyone else's. You were not born to be a backup plan. You weren't put on this earth to only serve others while forgetting who you are. Helping others is noble, but losing yourself in the process is not. If you keep coming last in your own life, you teach others to treat you the same way. You show them you'll always bend, always stretch, always shrink. But here's the truth. You don't have to. You can still be kind without being a doormat. You can still love people and say no. You can still care deeply and take care of yourself first. Putting yourself first changes everything. You become sharper, more focused. You stop tolerating what once drained you. You stop chasing what doesn't grow you. You stop waiting for people to value you and start acting like someone who knows they have worth. That shift isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. But it's powerful because it's the moment you take your life back. The moment you stop running on obligation and start living with intention. You're no longer surviving. You're building. You're deciding. You're leading your life, not just reacting to it. That's what prioritizing yourself looks like. Start with small actions. Say no without guilt. Block time for your goals. Turn your phone off when you need space. Honor your limits. Speak your truth. Stop explaining every decision. You don't need to justify taking care of yourself. That's your job. It's your responsibility to make sure your life reflects what matters to you. Not just in words, but in your calendar, in your energy, and in your choices. You can't control everything, but you can control how you show up for yourself. And if you don't, no one else will do it for you. This is your wake-up call. You've spent enough time putting yourself last. You've given enough energy to people who didn't appreciate it. You've sacrificed enough for a life that doesn't even feel like yours anymore. That ends now. Put yourself first, not when it's easy, but when it's necessary. You deserve your own effort. You deserve your own attention. You deserve to feel what it's like to live with your own needs at the top of your list. Because when you do that, everything else changes. And if you don't, if you keep waiting, you will keep coming last, every time. If you've been waiting for a sign to take yourself seriously, this is it. You can't keep putting yourself off and expect life to improve. Your habits, your peace, your time, your growth, they all start with one decision: to focus on you. Not someday, not when things calm down. Now, because if you don't take control, you will lose more than you think. So protect your priorities. Strengthen your routines. Choose what builds you. Your future depends on what you do today. Make sure the next version of you is built with intention, not regret. It's your move now. Make it count.